Hi, this is Josh from BrightTALK. I'm here with Mike Pozmantier from the Department of Homeland Security, Science and Technology Directorate. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So why don't you tell us a bit about what you're doing at RSA?
So Department of Homeland Security's S&T, the Science Technology Directorate, we're here showcasing government cybersecurity research that we're trying to transition from the government research labs into the private sector. So we have all kinds of research that we're doing that we'd like to see the private sector come and license from the government to build startups or products out of so that the technology can actually benefit everybody.
Sure. Is there anything that's coming out of the DHS that you're kind of quite excited about at the moment?
There's a lot of them. I work with 24, so they're all kind of like my children. So I'm kind of excited about all of them, but what we have things doing all kinds of analytics, so behavioral analytics for networks. We have things that do biology-based detection of malware, control system security, all kinds of different things like that. And so all of them are really interesting, and we hope that they'll find a place among all the people that are here.
Let's touch on the financial world, and the banks are becoming increasingly digitalized with cryptocurrencies, the challenger banks coming through, mobile payment apps. Do you think the technology is secure and the security can keep up with the technology as it develops?
The hard part with any kind of new technology is always that the capability always gets out in front of everything else when you're trying to secure it or policy or whatever it's going to be. I think of any industry though, the finance sector is doing a really good job with maintaining the security of their assets, putting out new things that are as secure as they can possibly make them. They make an enormous investment in that, and so from that perspective it's great, but we know that the threat is asymmetric. We know that the attacks are always coming. No matter how big your investment is, no matter how good the people that you have are, the attacker only has to be right one time. You have to be right every time to keep them out. So no matter how good you are, you're going to get hit at some point in time, and you just hope that your capability to detect and recover is going to keep up.
Of course. And if we take that kind of thought process and look at critical infrastructure, so we're seeing our schools and our hospitals in particular being targeted with ransomware attacks at the moment. What do you think can be done to reassure the citizens that the most critical elements of our infrastructure are protected?
I think it's up to the companies that are the stewards of that information to do a better job of securing it. I mean, we see quite a bit of attacks that happen where data is exfiltrated and it's not encrypted. We even saw it in the federal government as well with the OPM hack. So you can't really operate in today's world without giving up some of your personal information. You can't have insurance. You can't do a lot of different things. So
you can't come to RSA.
Exactly. So in order for people to have more faith in the system, I think companies that are the stewards of information have to do a better job of just doing the basics of security. And as long as they do that, and we start seeing a little bit less of this, and people are not getting 5 new credit monitoring services every year because 5 different companies they got hit, then there'll be more confidence in it.
One last point to finish on. There's been a lot of talk of late about the cyber skills shortage. Over the next kind of 5 to 10 years of the next generation, how much influence do you think the seeming lack of young professionals getting into the security game is going to be?
I mean, it's going to have a big impact, and we have to make a better commitment to getting education started sooner. So we're educating the next generations as they start off, and we need part of the basis for that is more STEM education, but also more understanding of cybersecurity and how mathematics and all engineering apply to that. Everything we do is connected now, so we're going to have a really interesting problem coming up because even today we have a shortage of qualified people that are working in the space, and we've got to make sure that there are more of them. How we deal with that is still a question to be answered. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to play out. We always do seem to, as a society, rise up and come up with better things, and society's more and more connected. So we'll see what happens with that, but I think that the commitment needs to be made to more education. We're doing that at DHS and we're a lot of other federal agencies, and we're just going to have to keep plugging.
Sure, and just one last point on that. If you were talking to your 17-year-old self, what would you say to encourage him into the security industry? I'm keen to hear your thoughts.
I don't know that there's anything I can say to my 17-year-old self to make me take a different career path. It took me a little while to find this. So I was at that age I was more interested in having fun than studying, so I'm not really sure that I would have been able to convince me to do that, but I would definitely tell myself that it's a great career path with a lot of security, and it's going to make you relevant for your entire career, and there's also a lot of money to be made as well, so that's always good.
Cool. Well, Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We're at RSA all week, so there's going to be plenty more thought leadership online.